A very good morning. Great to have your company, Sky Thoroughbreds Central, for a Thursday. If you've just joined us, the meeting at Narrandera and also Scone in New South Wales. Both those meetings have been postponed due to bad weather. Tracks are just simply too wet, so we're only racing at Ipswich this afternoon, just the one meeting to keep us company throughout the afternoon. No Scone and no Narrandera. Let's head straight to Ipswich and say a very good morning. Paul Joyce, Brody Nixon, they'll preview the meeting for us. Hello, boys.
Hello Anthony, and hello to everyone at home tuning in. Yes, we are the only show in town today, racing at Royal Ipswich, and we've got 9 races coming your way as well. The weather is terrific up here. We're going to hit the low 20s. There's a bit of breeze around as well, so this track has improved remarkably into the soft 6 range already, with the rail out 10 metres as I welcome in Brody Nixon. Brody, the only show in town, mate, so our job is to tip the card.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough card to tip as well, Joycey. Rail out a few metres. How's this track going to play? We're already up to a soft 6, which is great news. A fantastic day weather-wise, and some fairly nice 2-year-old races. We have 3 to dissect as well as 4 maidens.
We do. We've got a few races to get through. The 2-year-olds will take up 3 of the 9 races, and then we get some benchmark races at the end of the card for our quaddie. We'll got a little bit of history made yesterday as well in Queensland, and in particular Brisbane, with the Metropolitan Jockeys title taken out by Ange Jones, who everyone knows who watches me tip. She is in the stable, and no doubt it helps riding for Tony, but you know, both those girls can be so proud of what they've achieved in the last 12 months. You know, Ange in particular coming out of apprentice ranks into the senior ranks, and she's just gone from strength to strength. She has, and we get to see her talents everywhere from the country, the provincial, and also the Metropolitan, as we can see with her championship there. It was a bit bittersweet. I was on Certainly Can. Okay. Got nailed on the post, and David Goins got beat, but Ange has won the premiership. And what a lot of people, when they speak about Angela, is not only her ability, but the person she is. She's a very impressive person all round, in and out of the saddle. Yeah, look, I couldn't agree more. She's definitely got her head screwed on, and that's a big plus for these young jockeys coming through. They can go to their head very quickly, and male or female, it doesn't matter, but she's really got that head screwed on. She means business, and she's like a smiling assassin. You know what I mean? She's the most lovely person in the world, but you get out there in the horse race and she wants to win. She does. And you know, she's got that fiery competitive spirit that only the really good jockeys have. And you know, I mean, you talk J-Mac, best jockey in Australia, if not best jockey in the world. He's also probably the jockey with the biggest fire and ability that I've ever seen. So, I mean, it goes hand in hand, right? It certainly does. And one thing Angela can do is one of the first things he says, gets them out the gates, gets them comfortable, puts them in the run. And there's been a lot of times in the last few weeks we've seen horses not being able to win or just going okay. As soon as Angela's booked, the market's starting to con onto it now, but they just keep on winning, and she improves them just about every start. It's been good while it's lasted, Brody, but it might have come to an end, unfortunately. All right, let's have a look at this card at Ipswich today. 9 races, soft 6 track. The first race is for the 2-year-olds. We're over the 1,350 metres here. Benefits of Mine at 2:30, along with Wannabe Brutal. So nothing separating the favourites there. Lonesome Soul first up at the 1,350. That's the query. And then we have big odds about the other 3. I can't see a surprise happening here, Brody. What about you? No, you're absolutely spot on, Joyce. If one of these top 3 don't win, I'll be gobsmacked. I've gone the way of Benefits of Mine, and we're going to have a look at its first up victory at the Gold Coast over the 1,200 metres. Now, what we'll speak about with this track, as we know, the Gold Coast, it's been a work in progress. It can be quite shifty sometimes, and especially when they get the soft conditions, some horses might not be too comfortable. I think that was the case for this guy. He just got caught up behind a very fast pace, and chatting to Luke a few days later, he said he was very green. He took a while to balance up, but right now, when he saw clear running, extended hard through the pack to go on and win very dominantly. It's been a form race that I was expecting a few to come out of and win. It's only been fair so far, but he was the best horse of mine going into it. That win just confirmed it. His trial leading into his debut in fast time was fantastic. He always looked like he's going to be a 2-year-old runner. His half sibling was a 2-year-old winner over 1,400 metres, and after running second behind Dragon Rouge after being 4 or 5 wide throughout on debut, tipped out for a spell, comes back with that win. He's clearly on top. Small field, absolutely no query. As long as he gets a gap, he'll have the turn of foot to get over the top of him. And I think he should be winning this afternoon. The 1 over the 2, Wannabe Brutal.
geez, it was a brutal pace there last start when dominating, trucked into the race, extended hard the same day. Ran much better time than Benefits of Mine, but I think Benefits of Mine are in a smaller field is better suited. Lonesome Soul kept on specking at each way last preparation. Good runs behind Sunrays, Mishani Breeze and Halfpenny Hatch especially to close off the preparation. No official trial. First up this afternoon, very hard to line up for a horse that probably wants further, and Zuzu Janika best the rest. 1, 2, 3, 7 for me.
Yeah, I'm 1, 3, 2, 7, so we're pretty much the same. I've gone with Benefits of Mine for the same reasoning, Brody. The time would say that Wannabe Brutal's race was stronger, but my gut tells me Benefits of Mine race will turn out to be the stronger form race of the two, and I thought that on the day as well. I just thought there was more depth in that division. So as you said, we haven't had a real form line come through either race yet to justify that, but sometimes I think you just got to go with your gut, and we both agree that Benefits of Mine is probably going to be the stronger of those two races. Lonesome Soul, look, you've got your Sunrays, you've got your Halfpenny Hatch. We know that's really good form. It doesn't get much better, in fact, the Queensland 2-year-old form, but first up, 13.50, where's she at? Not sure. She's a query. Wannabe Brutal certainly could come out and win a gate. I wouldn't be surprised if they're more positive on him today in the small field. I don't think you want to get caught up in slow ones, and there are 3 slow ones in there. One of the best of them is Zuzu Janika, the 7. So 1, 3, 2 and 7. All right, race number 2. We hit a class 3 here over the 1,710 metres. Caravilla will be our short price favourite for Team Muntz and Talia Fenlon, $2. Simply Fun for Kelly Schweida, Georgina Cartwright at $2.30. Iron Grace back from Saturday grade at $9. And Flying Bat, your likely leader, at $9.50. Big odds the rest. I can't see a surprise here either.
3, 2, 4, 7. Very confident on Caravilla. By far the best bet of the day, and $2 seems the right sort of price to take after being popular in betting this day at Bow Desert. Talia Fenlon gave this horse an absolute peach to my frustration, Joycey. I had Kairos Louis, the best bet of the day, and Talia Fenlon off a fast pace just stalked the favourite everywhere he went, presented off heels and got over the top. This backed up a luckless third behind La Comera a couple of starts ago leading into it as well. So the form lines are great leading into this run, and Kairos Louis came out on Saturday landing big bets to win as well in a mile and Metropolitan grade. So race 2, number 3, Caravilla, clearly on top for me. LaRusso was the big worry.
Okay.
From the wide gate, I thought it was a clear danger, but when that came out, just steamboat ahead. $2 I think is a fair price. Simply Fun, query up in trip again to the 1,710. Should roll forward, but if Caravilla gets the right run at the right time, should be charging over the top. Flying Bat also rolls forward. Better conditions, the drying condition suits it, and Planning Counter, best of the rest, got a deserved win there last start after a very long time in between drinks. 3, 2, 4 and 7, best bet of the day.
All right, I'm with you. I'm with Caravilla as the best bet of the day as well. I'm 3, 2, 6 and 4. Look, you've covered off everything I needed to say. The form around La Cometa's outstanding. She was stiff there, and then she was too good for Kairos Louis, a horse that's racing particularly well also. I was happy to take on LaRusso to some degree just because LaRusso was going to have to go back from the wide gate with the rail out 10. So we would have got a little bit better value, but in saying that, LaRusso was the danger. So in a way, $2, we'll just have to take it. Simply Fun. Look, he's racing really well. He's a beautiful big horse to look at. He just lacks that killer punch. You know, he's there to win races. He doesn't put them away. And I just think Caravilla's going a little bit too well for him today. They're the only real chances. Iron Grace was okay in a Saturday race last start. Big query getting out to the 1,710 for her, though. But she is back in grade, and at her best, she could probably win this at $9. And then Flying Bat's your obvious leader, but I don't think going well enough to hold off horses like Caravilla or Simply Fun. So 3, 2, 6 and 4 for me in the second. All right, race number 3. We hit the 2-year-olds now. We have 2 2-year-old races coming up back-to-back over 1,100 metres. It's a cutest race, and Whispering Rogue has been back to the exclusion of all others owned by the Queensland Rogues, of course. So there's about 10,000 owners in it, and they always back their horses. Saxabushi at $4.60, Sharpoy at 11, Crypto Miss 12, Magic Invader 12, Kindred 13, Very Demure 19, Cyber City at 23. The reason I read all the way down the list was looking for my horse, but still not there. So what are you tipping here?
I've gone the way of the favourite, Whispering Rogue. I thought we'd get a better price than this, but the market has absolutely stamped it. I wonder if the win yesterday of Anders Stoll has forced this market to really step in, because they ran the fastest trial of the morning at the Gold Coast. Anders Stoll was impressive then. Subsequently franked it at the form yesterday at Doomben, and they completely gapped third. Whispering Rogue ran second behind Ritualize on debut on a very wet track. You were there that day. Guok On was horrible, but it came out to win 2 of its next few starts and ran third, I think, in a good race at the Gold Coast. We were out working together, that $1 million Magic Millions race as well. So Whispering Rogue, all the form lines are there. Talia Fenlon's done a lot of riding for the stable. She rode it on debut. $1.65, getting quite short, but clearly looks on top. They paid $135,000 for it, and I think they might be recouping a little bit of that today. Saxabushi, we're chatting about this horse. They just back it every single start. And I don't know what to do with it. Started 370 against Benefits of Mine, and as mentioned, Benefits of Mine, one of the better bets of the day. So I'm just going to respect the market. I got it as the danger. Sharpoi comes to that same race. They went quick up in front. Wouldn't be surprised to see them trying the same backing trip. And Magic Invader, 800 metres here at Ipswich on debut, heavily backed off 2 good trials, but was caught 4 or 5 wide throughout. I'm going to put a complete line through that one. 3, 2, 9, 11. Whispering Rogue on top, and away from that, you might find a bit of value.
Yeah, the blinkers are going on Magic Invader as well, so that might just sharpen him up. And the tongue tie just didn't run up to those trials over the 800, but certainly one I've got the numbers. 4, 3, 9, 11 are my numbers. We're going to show a replay of Amber Affair trialling before her first start. Now, this was on the poly track at the sunny coast, and the horse out in front is the horse that goes around in the next race, Wax On, Wax Off, and looked as though Wax On, Wax Off was going to bolt the trial in, and then Amber Affair just ambles up alongside Wax On, Wax Off, and the two of them pair away and clear out from the remainder of the field. And Wax On, Wax Off had to sort of have a bit of work done to get past Amber Affair again right on the line. And I thought Amber Affair, if anything, trolled better than Wax On, Wax Off. So you can see there, she trolled up a storm, gapped the rest of them. She got lost on debut, though. She drew wide in a 15-horse field at the sunny coast, and she just got buried away in the ruck. Wasn't a good run, but it wasn't a bad run. It was just a run. So we're getting $31 today. She's drawn soft. There's a lot of improvement coming. It's just a matter of how much. Is there going to be enough to beat Whispering Rogue? Maybe not. But I think at $31, you could have something very small each way. She's drawn soft. She'll go forward. She's got the speed to use the draw. Rails out 10. So if she can run third, still a good result. Whispering Rogue, very hard to beat. Sharpoi getting better with every run. And Magic Invader, as we said, those gear changes in the trial form, $12 is probably overs for Magic Invader. All right, let's have a look at race number 4. This is the other division of our 2-year-old cutest race today. We're over the 1,100 metres again here. And Wax On, Wax Off, the horse we were just talking about, is top of the market almost at $4. Miss Liana has been backed into favouritism. Not to know about that. Unfaithful at $5. Yeah, Buddy at $6. Metalcraft $6.50. Castiglione at $7. Orchid Valley $13. And Nabia, they backed it first up. It's $26. So I think this market's got a fair bit of chopping and changing to do yet.
Oh, I think it's got a lot more to come. Yeah, Buddy might be one they back. Unfaithful, I think you tipped this.
I tipped it at 100 to 1. That she ran like 100 to 1 pop, but there's more to the story.
Was she ridden upside down?
Well, I mean, the jockey sat on the right part of the horse, but I know what you mean. She did go forward in a race where maybe they probably would have been better to take a trail, but she was still disappointing. Like, I don't care if you put your horse in the race and they don't go on with it. That's just disappointing.
I'm going off the trials and the debut where she was held up down the straight. Similar to you, in a race where Miss Leanna from a gate, Angela Jones, it's on top. Wide draw, rail out Ipswich, 1,100 metres, cutest money for the 2-year-olds and a maiden. There's going to be pace. Wax On, Wax Off's going to be one of those that goes forward. Yeah, Buddy was great. It's a half to Inazuma Boy, and the other one just skips my mind at the moment. Both stablemates, and they're 800-metre specialist, but this guy's a little bit different. Hence why I've just gone from the low gate Unfaithful. I'm expecting Tiff Brooker to take a sit this afternoon. If it runs up to its first trials and then, of course, its debut, I think $5 is around the right sort of price. And the fact you tipped it last start, albeit disappointing, gives me some confidence that you didn't mind the debut either. Wax On, Wax Off. We saw the trial with Amber Affair. As you mentioned, Amber Affair, a big price, but Wax On, Wax Off, okay on debut, much better last start, went 3 wide, looks suited at Ipswich. Miss Leanna we've touched on after a luckless last start, and yeah, Buddy, I think this might be one of the better horses to come through the race. Pat Webster and Les Tilley, just the gate worried me where they're going to land and how far back they're going to get, but over the 800 metres was a really nice debut, expecting him to hit the line well. 10-3, 7-4.
Yeah, I'm 3, 10, 13 and 1. This is a tricky race, so I went with Wax On, Wax Off, just kept things really simple. Monty Philpott booked as the rider this morning. 2 kilos come off. She's also very aggressive out of gates. I think this horse has got the speed to lead them. Rails out 10. You're getting $4. He's the horse they're all going to have to get past. And his 2 starts have been rock solid. In town behind Sweet Hesitation, as you mentioned, improved into his 2nd start. So here's the way I'm playing it. Unfaithful. no surprise if she bounces up and shows what she's really got today. She should have nearly beaten Jockey on debut, and that's why I took the hundreds last start. But as we said, things just didn't work out on the day. She might have had an off day, whatever. She's back at the races today, drawn perfect, should get a lovely run. She's a big improver. Orchid Valley, down in the weights, down in the numbers there with a soft draw. Can definitely run a cheeky race on the back of a disguised first up run. And Metalcraft, they backed this horse heavily first up on the Gold Coast, didn't fire a shot.
What about its late work?
But after the post, that's when he started to get warm. So I don't know, maybe the penny just hasn't dropped. And if it drops today, we might see the real Metalcraft. And you'll recognise the colours too from Kelly Schweeder's stable there. So an interesting run of their Metalcraft. Keep an eye on the market. 3, 10, 13 and 1. Race number 5, the cutest 3-year-old maiden here over the 1100, Brodie. And we'll have a look at the market because Cypher Text, a 7-start maiden, 5 seconds, is our $2.25 favourite. Champagne Tower 350 Motorbike. What do you do with him? He was awful first up at $5. Lucky Man at $5, perhaps the smallest horse in the world. Coronation Day at $10. Day to Remember at $17. Big odds the rest. This was not easy.
No, I went in circles a lot. Cypher Text on top, but no confidence at all. If it runs up to its previous form lines, the runs behind the likes of Balance the Books, Hey Daisy and co, it looks the right sort of race for it to win. $2.25. It comes through that race of the Gold Coast where it started favourite, but it was towed up.
It was.
Winner there won by an awful long way. So Cypher Text through the form lines on top. Big question marks on whether it wants to win, and it's $2.25. It's a very tough price to take. Motorbike, former Godolphin, trialled well for James Cummings before its debut, was eased up out of the race, came up to Queensland. Thought his trial was only fair, heavily backed early at Bow Desert. Last 5 minutes, Joycey was out the gate, completely out the gate. It was pushing for favouritism for a moment against Captain Eagle, but in the last 5 minutes, the market really walloped it out to about $4 or $5.
$2.60 to $7.50.
Yeah, it was getting out to $7.50.
$2.60 to $7.50 late, so... Yeah, the market knew. The market knew,
and I think the market's going to know today as well. Champagne Tower is probably the best horse in the race going forward, but I wanted it at $13.50, not $1100. That was the big query for me, and Lucky Man, I didn't really know how to line up from that low gate. Should settle a bit closer. Comes to a form race that we've seen a couple of winners come through as well, and you can tie that in with the deep Vegas form lines through a few other runners in the race, which I think it's had 11 starters out of that race for 7 winners, which is quite amazing. But 4, 5, 15 and 16, I've gone in circles once again.
Yeah, I've left Motorbike out. He was just that plain. Anyway, I've gone 16, 4, 15 and 13. I suppose he could bounce back and beat these because they've all got question marks over them. Like, none of them have won their maiden yet for a reason. Now, Lucky Man, the reason he hasn't won his maiden, there's probably 2 reasons. He may be the smallest horse physically in the entire world, so that makes things tough. But he's got a soft draw. He's drawn the fence. He should have won 2 back. He got badly held up in the last 150. If he got out, he probably wins. And then they took him to town last start. It was quite a strong maiden, as it turns out.
And burned along, didn't they?
And ran a decent race. I think ran 5th, wasn't it, behind Burberry. What's he called, that horse? A good horse of Mayfield Smith's. Barbary Spur. So that's a strong maiden, and the runner-up's come out and run well since. So I think we'll just stick with that. Cypher Text, borderline value. Champagne Tower, similar. And maybe Day to Remember can improve with those blinkers going on, but you'd have to be very loyal there as well. So 16, 4, 15 and 13. The quaddie kicks off in the 6th. We've got a maiden over the 1710 here. 2 first starters makes things interesting. I'd love your thoughts on their trials because they're not supposed to trial well when they're 1700 metre horses, but they both bred to stay. Scorpio's Ilo's our favourite at $1.80. Piston Rebel at $3.80 and Burtis at $6.50. Southern Draw yet to place is at $10, so the race falls away pretty quickly.
They are bred to stay, and I think the trials, in one word, were poor for both. So one of them's a half to reflect the stars. That is Mooloo Man, who was a good stayer there in Victoria. I think won a fair few races during the winter of a couple of years ago, but trial's been average. Next Santa Anna was here last time I was here at Ipswich, was scratched to the gates, and it was a big drifter in betting as well. So I have steered well clear of the 2 debutants. I've gone with the second starter, Piston Rebel. Now, just continues to be back, Joycey, and Scorpios just before we came on air for the preview, we were chatting about this horse, and it certainly is the one you probably want to have on top, but at $1.80, it's starting to get backable. It was about $1.60 this morning, $1.70 a short time ago. If you get anywhere near even money, it might actually become a bet for a lot of those punters that are keen on it. But Piston Rebel, I'm just going through those Drakena form lines, slowly away on debut at the Sunshine Coast over the 1,400 metres. stuck to the inside and savaged the line to be defeated. Yes, 5.5 lengths, but gave Jockey a long start, had the right run in transit. That horse won a Saturday 3-year-old mile, defeating Ramp It Up, who ran second in the Wing Skinnies. Yeah. I think Jockey is a nice 3-year-old to follow over the next couple of months, and Piston Rebel really savaged the line. Will Crop's got a couple of nice young stays. He can get them fit very quickly, so I'm back in the stable, backing Les Tilley from the good gate. I think can overturn the favourite if it does take big improvement out of that debut. Scorpios Isle, CJ just got flushed a little bit early there last start, had to work into the race, but 1700 metre maiden, it wasn't a very strong event because Burtis and Flash won. Hey, come do the same event, and I'm more than happy to take them on well and truly. So 3, 7, 9 and 10, clearly the top two. Yeah,
I've gone 7, 3, 4 and 13, so just flip those top two around. Scorpios Isle gets the eye in now after that 1700 metre run, and I didn't mind the aggressive tactics because they're 1700 metre maidens. You're just unlucky you had one that was good enough to come and beat you on the day, and they gapped the rest of them.
Robbie gave it a peach.
And Robbie gave it, and it might be a nice horse too, so let's give the benefit of the doubt to Scorpios Isle there. Piston Rebel, on the other hand, you've just got to believe. If you believe in that one run, you could take 380. You know, he was 20 to 1 there. He missed the start 3 lengths. I mean, there's probably a lot going on as to whether or not he can reproduce that, or was it just a one-off? We'll find out more today. And then you've got Paper Wars. I think we'll roll forward under Corey Sutherland. I wouldn't mind leading, I suppose, if you get the opportunity to. And Southern Draw was good the other day, but that was the best run out of 5 starts to date by a long, long way. So there's a few of these that we really probably have to see again before we can make any real hard judgment. So 7, 3, 4 and 13 for me. That is the first leg of the quaddie as well today. Race 7, a benchmark 65. We get out to the 2210 metres here. Last start winner Tarex, the likely leader, but he's $5. Demarque for Chris Waller, and Kyle Wilson-Taylor, our favourite, at 280. Jungle Jet 460, Nippers Nightcap 480. Giddy Gans Joy back from 3200 at 750, and Sly Corner, a big winner too, back at the Gold Coast, $9.50. This race wasn't easy either.
No, and the fact that all bar 2 of the runners come through the same event almost made it a bit trickier, because Nippers Nightcap ran really well, but 2,200 metres is a query. Tarex won the race and was able to get a good time up in front, has to rise a couple of kilos in the weights. Sly Corner gets a 4 kilo swing, didn't really do too much late, but was eased up. And the one that I thought could improve, Jungle Jet, but I thought I'd be getting $8 to $10, and they've whacked up 460. Yeah. So I don't know what. I was a bit disappointed. I would love to have seen a bit more, but it's the horse I wanted to back leading in this event, so I'm going to stick strong. Looks like this horse is just genuinely looking for a trip this preparation, has been out sprinted in every run and didn't fire a shot until last start, where when Tarex went for home, Jungle Jet was left flat-footed, but he really picked up through the line onto heels. It's a right sort of event, 2,200 metres. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jag, who's riding well at the moment, get into this horse early and try get into the race and make it a genuine staying test, because if he does that, that's his best chance of winning. Demarque deserved to break through last start, although it defeated a early couple of average group of runners. That one that ran second came out at the Sunshine Coast on Sunday afternoon and was knocked off in a fairly weak benchmark maiden as well. So that was Kenshin Maru, albeit a massive run, and they really gapped Trump Card, who came out yesterday and was okay in another even benchmark race. So I'm not too sure what to do with the Demarque form lines. If he continues to improve here in Queensland, trained by Chris Waller, I wouldn't be surprised to see him win this race and go on to contest maybe a Saturday staying race in the next few weeks. But I've got him in for second. Sly Corner, as mentioned, the faster they go, the better. 2,200 metres is a query, and Nippers Nightcap, great last start. Wouldn't be surprised to be knocked out in this sort of race. 3, 6, 2, 5.
I went 1, 3, 5 and 6. I'm just sticking solid with Tarex. Got the cash there last start at double figures leading throughout, so he's now won 2 of his last 3. He's just a good type. He's in great nick. He looks well. He's the only leader I can see on paper. 2,200 is a query, and he has gone up 2 kilos, but he'll give you a great sight. $5 is a fair price. Jungle Jet, for all the reasons you've outlined. Nippers Nightcap just hits a flat spot in its races. That's why the strike rate's where it's at. And Demarque from Barrier 1 could get all the favours in the run, so not much between them. Price-wise, Tarex came out on top, 1, 3, 5 and 6. Race number 8, we've still got 2 to go. Acutus 3-year-old benchmark 70 here. We're over the 1,200 metres. And an interesting sort of betting race with Ally on top at $2.80, but struggling to win a race this prep. Jopper Lane coming through Saturday form at $3.90. Grammar Lad, very disappointing first up on the back of a late drift at $5. Diamond Epic, I thought trialling well at $9.50 and want some more of it. Was a bit unlucky here, a couple back also at the $9.50. What do we do in the 8th?
Very keen, Jopper Lane. I think it's one of the better bets of the day. The only query, rail out 10 metres, staying at 1200, and also the fact that it's going to get back in the race. That's the big knock, but this form line, you've got Lead Me On winning, 10 good reasons outside it, finishes second, who came out yesterday and beat Save the Dream, Mr. Bianco. The winner, Lead Me On, came out on Saturday once again and bolted in a much stronger race as well at Doomben on Saturday grade. And Joppa Lane, after getting back, powers past Benzu, Kiwi Spirit, and goes on to be defeated less than a length as a horse who looks like it's got Saturday ability, mainly over the 1400 metres in time, but this was a really good return. 35 days in between runs. I think Joppa Lane ticks most boxes. Going to need a good ride from Damien and a bit of luck, but we're getting $3.90 to find out. Beat home Ally 2 starts ago at the Gold Coast as well, so clearly on top for me. Diamond Epic's trolling really well, went through the line with Save the Dream last start. Can over race when it goes forward. So I don't know if they take their medicine and go back, but there's no speed.
First up, you've got to go forward, don't you?
I agree. That's why I've had it in for second. Is I think they should bite the bullet. Grandma Lad had heat stress last start, and Ally best the rest. 2617.
Just leave the numbers there. 2617. I've done the exact same. Look, I think the key with Joppa Lane is just a good draw today. Damien Thornton won't have to go all the way back. You look at his last few runs, he's sort of been dictated to as to getting a long way back, whereas today with the rail out 10, if you can just keep close enough to the leaders, it might make all the difference for a horse that's got a big closing finish on him. So 2, 6, 1 and 7 for me. Race number 9, a benchmark 65 over the 1100, rounds us out today. This will be an interesting market as well. We've got Araletta at 270 favourite, Black Minto and Zatanna at 5, Machine Head and Rustic Czar 550, Lavoni at 12, Kovac 16. So I think there's going to be a bit of movement in this market as well before jump time.
I think Araletta was nearly odds on, if much shorter, when the markets first went up, and has been drifting. It was only fair there last 2 starts. Third start in Queensland now. Blinkers go back on. $2.70, has to find the best form, but I've got it in for third. I went the stablemate Zatanna. Don't back this horse each way if you're going to back it. Either back it to win or it's going to run last. There's going to be absolutely...
It's a bit like her, isn't it?
There's no...
her overall form would say no, but I know where you're coming from.
Yeah, last preparation mainly. She was first up, odds-on favourite at Gatton, was towed up there and came out, bolted in second up and was heavily defeated third up. So if she finds her even form, I think she can certainly run well. The main thing here is I don't know where the speed comes in the race. I thought Deep Tiara is the one I wanted, but they've scratched there. So Zatanna left on top, off an even trial. Rustic Czar's trialled okay once again. I want to let the market tell me what to do with that galloper. Araletta blinkers on, and Lavoni change of stables, no trial. If it drew a gate, I'd spec it, but I've got no idea what to do with it once again for the new stable. 4, 9, 6 and 13.
I've gone 7, 6, 3 and 9. I've gone with Machine Head. I think that might be your leader. If not leading, sit outside Zatanna. Was brave on speed last start, the benchmark 58 here over this track and distance. So hopefully history can repeat. He's deep into his prep, he's fit, and I like the aggressive tactics. I think if anything, they've been a little bit too soft on such a big, strong horse. Just let him run. And CJ did it last start. Hopefully she can do it today. Araletta drawn the fence, gets that gear change, the blinkers back on. Black Minto was good the other day at Bow Desert. Bunched finish, and Rustic Czar trialling up nicely, went out with 2 wins on the board. I love horses going out on a high, and that's what Billy Healy did with Rustic Czar. So 7, 6, 3 and 9 for me. Zatanna, though, one of those horses, if you don't tip her, they'll come out and win by 3, and if you do tip her, she'll be gone at the 300. So Zatanna's just one that's done my head in a little bit. So 7, 6, 3 and 9 for me there. Let's have a look at our best bets and quaddies as runners are making their way into the yard here for the first.
Race 3, number 2, Caravilla, clearly on top for me, Joycey, and you've got the same.
I have, and I've got Amber Affair if you want something small each way, very small, because I'm banking on a lot of improvement there in race 3, number 4. Quaddie time.
I've gone quite wide in the middle 2 legs, Joycey. I've trimmed up in the first and the last. I went 3 by 6 by 5 by 3.
All right, so a big quaddie strategy there for Brody. 3 by 6 by 5 by 3. I've kept it fairly orthodox. I've only got 2 in the first leg, a bit like you. I don't think we'll miss there. And then I've just got my top 4 picks in the other races. I think we'll be sweet to get through for 128 combos for the quaddie. And Jockey Challenge, the last thing we have to look at before we throw back to our good mate Anthony Manton in the studio, is CJ Graham, $1.35. She's got some good rides. I didn't think she'd be that short. Talia Fenlon, $7.50. Georgie at 8. Kyle at $8.50. Jag at 18. Mike Elliott's got a ride early on at 26. Any other jock, 41. And D Thornton at $81. So there you go. I didn't think CJ would be quite that short, but she is. Hopefully she can justify that quote and boot home a few winners here today, Anthony. As we head back to you, we'll grab this camera, get them ready for the yard, and we'll come back in a few seconds.
Good on you, Paul. Brody, thank you for that. Looking forward to your coverage up there at Ipswich this afternoon. If you've just joined us, just the one meeting, Ipswich today in Queensland with Narendra and also Scone. Both those meetings here in New South Wales, both postponed due to the wet weather. Okay, Ipswich race one's only 10 minutes away. We'll take a little break, come back on the other side. They'll be ready for us. Okay, in the yard for the first at Ipswich, where Wanna Be Brutal is your favourite, $2.20. Benefits of Mine, $2.40. Lonesome Soul, $4. And Social Pariah heads the others, $19. Small field, just the 6 to run. Falls away pretty quickly. 3 horses under double figures, and the others are all big odds. We've got Paul Joyce and Brodie Nixon in the yard for us today, and what looks to be a stunning day at Ipswich. Just looking at some pictures coming through as they're in the yard. Stunning day. The boys are gone without the ties. Very different to what we're experiencing in Sydney, lads.
Thanks, Manto. Yes, the runners are just about to head out from the yard. Number 1, Benefits of Mine, is the first one to go on the track, and that'll be the first we'll talk about in this 2-year-old handicap over the 1,350 metres. The number 1, Benefits of Mine, gets barrier number 2. Luke Dempsey goes aboard for Nat McCall. Second up this afternoon, Paul Joyce.
Yeah, we both have him as the horse to beat, Brodie. His debut performance was very good, even though he was rolled as a $1.60 favourite. He got beaten by a smart one in Dragon Rouge, and he had to do a lot of work in the run. He got posted wide, and he wasn't beaten far. It was a big effort. Came back from a spell. Electric to win first up in what we consider to be the stronger of the 2-year-old races that day at the Gold Coast. We're about to find out if we're right. Soft draw, the step to 13.50 suits, and it's that acceleration which hopefully can get him home.
Number 2, Wanna Be Brutal, ran quicker time that same day at the Gold Coast, but it was a brutal pace. CJ Graham, our $1.35 Jockey Challenge favourite, goes aboard for Kelly Schweiter, gets barrier 6.
Yeah, the positive out of that is you'd expect him to see every bit of the 13.50 because he's run a real tough 1,200 and won by 3 lengths. He looks terrific in the yard heading onto the track now, and he's certainly one of the big dangers here in a race of few chances.
Number 3, Lonesome Soul. What do we do with this galloper? No official trial. Gets barrier number 4 for Chelsea Baker. Greg Wright trains.
The form around is really good. She's got Sunrays form. She's got Halfpenny Hatch form. She was runner up there in a Saturday race before she went out for a break. So if we'd seen her trial and she trialled really well, you could sort of start to think about where you're going to put her at top. But the fact we haven't seen a trial, no doubt she's done the work because she's first up at 13.50 from a stable that can get them ready. So she's a big query for me.
Number 5 is Social Pariah. Barrier number 3, Aidan Thompson for Craig Cousins.
You couldn't have her on what we've seen at the trial. She got absolutely lapped. Not a bad type to look at, but yeah, from what we've seen, you couldn't have her.
Number 6, 5 of Us, gets barrier 5. Georgina Cartwright for Scott Morrissey. This afternoon, Winkers go on for the first time.
Yeah, we've seen her 3 times at the races. She's been triple figures every time. She's been beaten accordingly. So be a massive turnaround for her to do something here.
Number 7, Zuzu Janika, gets barrier number 1. Taylor Marshall goes aboard for Kevin Kemp.
Her best start was her debut run. That was terrific in town. But since then, she's been unplugged placed at 5 starts. The closest she's come was a 6th here at Ipswich in a 7-horse field. So she's been struggling to reproduce that debut performance, and you'd have to take her on trust.
That's the runners for race number 1. Paul Joyce and myself mentioning during the preview, Joycey, if it's not one of the top 3, we'll be very surprised if one of these roughies do score. And the market's made their opinions known. Want to be brutal. It looked outstanding in the mounting yard. It's been $2.30 into $2 with the QOP, now $2.10 with the tab. Benefits in mind, $2.60 was favourite this morning. It's out to $2.80 with the QOP. Lonesome Soul hasn't really budged from that $4 quote. Social Pariah, $26 out from $18. 5 of Us, $26 out to $31. And Zuzu Janika, $20 out to $21. I've gone the one on top, Benefits in mind. Slight drift is a slight query, but they did the same last start, Joycey. It was about $2.80 out to $4.20, and as we know, dominated that event. More than happy to take the price here. Parade looked fine to my eye, and I think it's the best horse in the race going forward, and I'm more than happy to take the quote. The trials leading into its debut in fast time were tremendous. Jumped $1.60 to be beaten by Dragon Rouge in very fast time. Dragon Rouge won about 2 or 3 straight, including a black type event, and the way that Benefits of Mine returned to the Gold Coast, winning what I expect to be a strong race, is more than happy to play him. $13.50, I think it's going to suit him. He's a big, strong horse, and the fact that it's a smaller field makes me a bit more confident from the low draw. Should be able to use that turn of foot and charge over the top of the leaders. The 2 is the Big Danger. Want to be brutal. Looked outstanding. Ran fast time when winning there at the Gold Coast. Looked like a horse that certainly does want to step up in trip, so the $13.50 suits him down to the ground. Kelly Schweda's 2-year-olds this season have been outstanding. CJ Graham riding well the last couple of months, as she always does, and certainly do respect the market push. The 3, Lonesome Soul, continue to get back and run on, and especially Saturday, midweek Wednesday, races there for the 2-year-olds behind a couple of smart types, including Halfpenny Hatch. I think there might just be a left-out sprinted in the small field, but no official trial. Keep an eye on the money in the last couple of seconds. And the 7, Zuzu Janika, best of the rest, Paul. 1, 2, 3, 7, and you're seeing it the same.
Yeah, I've gone 1, 3, 2 and 7, but, I think between those top 3, you just got to follow your instinct or your gut. We think Benefits of Mine probably going to be the stronger of those 2 Gold Coast 2-year-old races on the 12th of July, but the market disagrees with us. The market's going with the one that ran the best time, and that was certainly Want to be Brutal. Overall, the time was significantly faster. So the market may be going that way. Maybe the pros are getting that information through and sort of thinking that might be the strongest form reference. But the other thing with Benefits of Mine, Brody, is he was only start number 2. Want to be Brutal was start number 5. So you'd expect more upside to come out of Benefits of Mine. So if we've got the form as being a stronger race with more upside, there's only half a kilo in it. Benefits of Mine giving half a kilo to Want to be Brutal. So I'm happy to stick solid, even though the market disagrees with us. I'll leave the 1 on top. Number 3, Lonesome Soul. She's the one that's really hard to assess. She's only going to carry 54.5 for a jockey that knows her in Chelsea Baker. She's got the right form lines. Halfpenny Hatch, Sunray's form. She's won here at Ipswich as well, which is a plus. She looked fit enough to me. She certainly didn't have the sort of physical dominance that the top 2 have, but they're boys. She's only a filly. She's not supposed to have that physical dominance. So she goes in as the danger. Number 2, Want to be Brutal. Got to respect the market. He's into odds on now, or $2 with tab. And look, maybe he'll just go forward here today from that draw. Wouldn't be a silly idea. And 7, Zuzu Janika, as I said, fire a dart at those last 3, and that's the one you come up with. But top end of the market should be right here, Brody. And, it's a really interesting little race to get us started. Obviously, we're banking on Benefits of Mine being the one, but, the market says we're probably wrong here and Want to be Brutal. Keen to see what he can do.
And even the scratching of Kirathea, who came out, the daughter of Irathea, I think it was group performed or group winner as well, and was an eye-catching debut there at Doom. And so this 2-year-old 1350 metre race, certainly on paper, might be one to follow over the next couple of months, and especially with Kirathea, looked up to be an outstanding contest. But the way the market's going, they deem it to be all about Want to be Brutal, $1.85. And as you mentioned, Joycey, it might be a potential change of tactics here from the wide gate, that they just bite the bullet and go forward.
Well, you've only got 6 runners, and 3 of them don't look to be much good. So you'd sort of want to be in that top 3, you would think, wouldn't you? And I think that goes for the top 3 in the market. I don't think you'd want to get behind one of the potential slow horses here. 5 of Us might be a bit of a pest up on speed. Social Pariah showed some pace at the trials, but was gone at the 600. And Zuzu Janika